What's good, everybody? Sherman Webb-Middlebrooks, a lifelong Buffalo resident and full-time black man, back at you with another episode of Igniting Hope Radio. I am very excited to have a conversation with this guest here. We have an upcoming event that we're looking to promote, but we're also looking to give this brother his flowers and celebrate him and learn a lot more about what's going on in the art and music and cultural scene here in Buffalo, because music, creative expression, those are all social determinants of health. Those are all things that impact the way we feel, think, act, and behave in the places where we live, work, and play. So I want to introduce my guest to y'all, and shout out to our producer, Joel, who put together this wonderful write-up. So I'm going to go ahead and read this if you don't mind.
Cool, bro.
So who we have with us here today is brother Walter Kemp III. He is a distinguished jazz pianist, composer, and educator based here in Buffalo. His early exposure to music came through his father, a classical and gospel composer, which ignited Kemp's passion for the piano. Witnessing his father's compositions performed at Carnegie Hall inspired him to pursue classical piano studies, eventually leading him to jazz and gospel organ. As the lead composer and pianist for ensembles such as the Black Hole, Kemp plus the Reyvolation, and the Walter Kemp
Trio.
There we go. Kemp is renowned for his innovative compositions that blend traditional chord progressions with inventive flair. His collaborations include work with notable artists like the late Junie Booth,
That's my guy.
and Ray Scott of Sun Ra
Orchestra.
I love how that's written. I love that. Okay. As well as Bobby Militello. Okay. Dave Brubeck and Sabu Adeola.
Yeah.
Okay. Notably, Kemp is the youngest musician in over 3 decades to serve as the artistic director for the CMC Jazz Festival, and he imparts his knowledge as a jazz studies instructor at Villa Maria College. His latest project, Black Hole, showcases his exploration of diverse sonic landscapes, pushing the boundaries of sound to create a cosmic, freewheeling experience. The ensemble features Kemp on the piano, Rhodes and Viscount organ, Grammy Award-winning improvisational violinist Scott Tixier, woodwind master Brent Brickhead on alto sax, clarinet, and flute.
Burkhead,
Bass prodigy Rishon Odell, and New York City percussionist Alan Menard. This collaboration emerged from 0.9 Mile Collaborative Artist Residency and has evolved into a forward-thinking ensemble. That's a lot. I feel like I just got to know you. Our audience just got to know you. But is there anything I left off, Brother Kemp? Anything that you want to share with the people?
Not really. Wow, that's a heck of a write-up. Thank you, Joe. But yeah, I guess the only thing we left off is the new project we doing today. It's a different project, Chamber Code.
Okay. Talk to us about that.
Chamber Code is it stems from early forms of communication.
Okay.
And what we're doing is we're taking it's a multi interdisciplinary between the arts. So we have music, we have poetry, and we also have visual light art. Okay. So the music will be all the way from Italy, will be Silvia Bolognese, and she's a bass player, incredible bass player. She's coming in. On drums, we'll have Warren Trey Crudup. He's from NYC.
Okay.
He's coming in and poetry. He's a poet laureate. Is Thomas Sayers Ellis.
Okay.
He's coming in from Florida. He spent a huge stint in New York City, but he's in Florida right now. He's coming in as a poet, and then our light special, our visual artist, will be doing projections. Actually, what he'll be doing is drawing right there on the iPad. We gonna put it right on the wall.
So you got all kind of art covers.
Yeah, that's Idris Wajid over
that's my big bro. Okay.
Eat off art.
Okay.
Yeah, he about
my mentors.
Sir, he's definitely in it. So it's gonna be fire. And that's the new movement. You know, we're dealing with, and it's early forms of communication. So we're dealing with Morse code.
Okay.
We're dealing with improvisation. We're dealing with rounds. Rounds meaning echo. I do something, you do something right behind it. We're dealing with also harmonic structures. You know, if through certain harmonic structures, we'll all be able to communicate this one beautiful piece. So, you know, I might start with a harmonic structure. The bass player comes in with one structure. The drum comes in with a rhythm. And then now we have this type of tone, a spoken word over the top. It's gonna create this one type of resonance, which is the chamber, is the code. So we have the resonant code. It's resonating. Sound is resonating code. It's there really. It's in the community's healing. You know, and what I mean by healing is not only politically what we got going on now, which is crazy, but right now we're in a place where just the urban areas need to have an opportunity to just heal and rebirth what we need to do for education wise, arts wise, health wise, physical health wise. So that is the movement that we're pushing, and we're pushing to create community. Then we're pushing to create a professional community with the artists, not just in one discipline. We like, you know, I even might be
just broke down stuff in forms of art I never heard of or thought about as art, but I dig where you going.
Right. So that's what we do, and later on it might be dance. Later on it might be any type of other arts that would.
It might be us their podcast.
There we go. Yeah. So definitely that is the vibe we're seeking for. We're more seeking for less about being virtuosic.
Okay.
More about being intentional.
Yes. And so that's awesome that you say that. And I think just based on the variation of disciplines that you have covered, I think you don't get that without intentionality. Right. You have to do something like that on purpose. Right. And I think that that's dope. One other thing that you had mentioned was about healing. And there's Charlemagne the God.
My guy.
That we're the first generation that gets to heal or even consider thinking about healing. And that stuck with me ever since I heard him quote that. And I look at my pops.
Right.
And I be trying to get him to come to men's groups and do different things. And he just kind of I'm about to go home and watch the game.
Yeah.
But it's I get it. You worked for so long, and for so long you were told and thought to just go to school, go to work, pay your bills, come home, take care of your kids, watch the game, take a vacation, maybe do something on the weekends. But there's no opportunity to reflect or express yourself. And when things happen, especially as a man, you have to keep trudging along. And it's an interesting juxtaposition because the kind of conversations that I'm having with him, because I went to school for psychology, I was trained as a social worker, I do men's mental health groups here. So I'm coming and operating from a different place, and it's almost like we speak in different languages.
Wow, yeah.
But it's like love, but he just don't get it.
Yeah, well,
he wasn't really afforded the opportunity to. So I'm really thankful that folks like yourself are leading that charge and uplifting the importance of healing.
I think I had a little bit of a health scare, even though I was going towards this way, but that helped me in this whole forming, completing the idea of, this is healing.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, I come from the X generation.
Mm-hmm.
So, we had the boomers above, and then we had below us, we had, the Y generation, and the Y2K. So we could kind of, we could chill with the little bros, and we could be with our aunties and uncles, right? But it was no room for softness.
Right.
It was no room for healing.
Right.
Not to say healing is soft, but it was no room to let someone know you're in distress.
Right. Be vulnerable.
or even let yourself know, right?
Yeah.
Right, be vulnerable, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that for your dad, brother, to say, be like, yo, I definitely understand.
Yeah, and he shared with me one time, and it shocked me. He was like, I respect how vulnerable you are. And he kind of said it in like a real direct kind of in passing. And I wanted to like stop and unpack it, but I was like, just take what you can get.
I don't know me unpacking that.
Yeah, take what you can get from the man. That was a lot for him. So you're like a educator. So I think like that's dope, because as like I was reading all of this, I'm just like, wow, like this is just, you could tell like this is your purpose. This is like your life's work. But like I see you're an educator over at Villa Maria College. So I'm very interested in that, because I always admire musical artists. So like I'm a very confident person. There's a few things that I can do that I wish I could do. And like swimming and playing the instrument is like one of them. So and drawing. So like really artists. So I have this tremendous like admiration for artists.
Man, you better go take a music class. Knock that off.
So what is it like in the music class? Like, do you see sounds? My cousin does music. He's like, yo, sounds are like colors in my head.
Yeah. A lot of times when you start to have a musical database, when you hear something, you know what it is. You're like, oh, okay, I know what they're playing. Oh, wow, where'd they go? What is that? Like, so things that you might not be quite familiar of, it's intriguing, but a lot of times I can kind of see what we call, like colors. Like when they say, oh, he's putting colors over the top. Yeah. That's like, different harmonic patterns that might be a secondary harmony of what actually is being played, but it fits. Like if I'm in whatever key, I might play tritone substitution, right? Which is normally, it gets everybody like, woo.
And I'm sure there's some people out there that know exactly what tritone substitution means. I'm not one of them, but I'm here to learn.
But I might play something, but you might immediately be like, yo, that's killing, that's dope, it fit. So really the best reaction is not the tritone substitution reaction. It's like the reaction to like, yo, that's killing. Because you still, at the end of the day, you still got to stop, and this is even for musicians, having it in your head so much. That's why he views it probably as colors, because you want to see beauty. You don't want to really be like mechanics. I tell them a lot, still enjoy what you're playing. So unfortunately, you have to get into the rudiments a lot when you're playing, because we're trying to build it like a foundation. So try to build a house. So what you got to do, you got to go down and put the mortar in. You got to build that foundation. And that's tough work, being down there digging the basement out so you can put the drain.
It must be done.
Yeah, but it must be done, right?
It must be done.
So that's really the thing about teaching. What I do like is my jazz ensemble. I've had them for a few years, so now it's all coming together. Okay. So I couldn't do. They got hired for a gig. I couldn't do it, so we had another piano player came in, and it was so great that they were kind of teaching the piano player, who was like a grown man. Like what? These are the tunes.
Never too old to learn.
Yeah, like these are the tunes, man. We this this is what we playing. So
It's really interesting when you say, like, what did you just say? The triple
tritone substitution.
Yeah, tritone substitution. So for me, like, I'm such like a literal person sometimes, and I really don't like that. But anyways, to like be able to convert sounds and the rhythm of sounds, and take like, I hear this pattern of sounds in my head at a rhythm, and like I need to find words and language to communicate that to someone else, so they can see and hear and understand what's in my head. So like, what do you think music's impact is kind of on brain function, how the brain functions?
I can tell you what I feel. What I try to do. I try to make, for what you see, I try to make it a little bit uncomfortable, and then I try to make a waterfall.
Okay.
So when we slip in, you're like, oh, just a teeny bit of like, it's like, what is it?
Then you get it.
They're like, yo, this is killer. Okay, so like the waterfall might be, I switch from, and I'll say it in words, from a minor to a major. Okay. Or I switch from a major to a minor, or I do tritone subs, or or I'll like do like some sort of different type of cadence to resolve something to like, or I might change a key. Yeah. Just something to shake you, or so you really got to have, like, I've been blessed. I have had really the same bass player for a while, Rashad Odell. Okay. So I can just like give him a look and he's like, oh, it's coming.
Get it, yeah.
It's coming. So, and then, he can find where I'm going. Or he can find a line inside of it. Like,
so like, what's like the music, you said that, so like, what's like the music scene like here in Buffalo? Like, where can folks go to like hear good quality live music? Especially like our people, black folks, brown folks.
Yeah. We it's pretty dope, actually. I mean, I do apples to apples, so I'm not gonna compare Buffalo to New York City or LA.
Okay, that's fair.
I compare Buffalo to Rochester, Charlotte. Okay. I'll compare it to those smaller Pittsburgh. Okay. I'll compare it to those towns. We of course we have infrastructure where you have teachers like me. Yeah. Then you have different clubs depending on what club you're doing. You can do Lucky Day.
I like Lucky Day.
Lucky Day does every Friday, Saturday. Bands in and out. Now they got Sidebar going back again. Okay. Flutes over there. Flute, Rod, and Chuck on bass. Okay. That's a vibe. Definitely check that. That's a us vibe.
Gotcha.
They doing all the oldie but goodies, Then you got the Color Musician Club does some concerts, monthly jams at what is that? Gypsy Bar, and also weekly jams at Anchor Bar.
Really?
Oh man, the aunties and uncles is out, man.
At the Anchor Bar?
Flooded. And you gotta pay to get in there. And they gonna be packed to where if you don't get there early enough, they be like, yeah, we ain't got no room. Oh. And the Anchor Bar is hitting on Sundays. Sundays at the Anchor Bar, and then Nietzsche's is if you really into jazz. Okay. I tell people go down there on Sundays and they got a jam session.
In other words, it's not for lack of options and opportunities to enjoy some good quality music.
Oh, it's absolutely.
Lack of people not knowing what's out there.
It ain't knowing. They looking for their friends to call them to go to DC. Every week you can go somewhere in Buffalo. That's what. So a lot of musicians that come to town here, they're like, Buffalo, all right, dog.
So what do you think? So I kind of get that too. So like we got some notes, but I kind of want to go off.
Go ahead.
I'm just curious because you kind of opened the door for that a little bit. So like, do you get the sense too that like sometimes people are down on Buffalo and think that like the things that we have here juxtaposed to another city just aren't good enough, and so therefore they choose not to engage or go out or participate? Because that's kind of my experience.
Okay, let me get you hip to this. A lot of cats in my band, if you notice, ain't from here, right? So, aren't from here.
Now this is us talking.
That's us. Ain't from here. Yeah. They come to town, New York City, DC, Baltimore. They coming from, Dallas. Talking about big areas, right?
Yeah.
They love it. Yo, put me at the Henry when the Henry was there. Walt, put me in make sure I'm on.
Huh.
Why? Because we 104th and we're 104 in crime. We don't have high crime here.
Yeah.
Let everybody know. I know Boogie, we don't have. I've lived in places high crime. Yes. Number one in homicides. Baltimore, Chicago, the DMV. That's crack-a-lacking.
It's a little different.
Buffalo chill. You can't be stupid, but Buffalo's chill.
Usually, here's my experience. Because I don't know if I can say this, but I can say this. I'm going to say it like this. I know people who shoot and shot people. And usually people don't shoot or haven't shot people for no reason.
Right. You got to be in that. You in it. You know the games. You know the rules of the game.
Yes.
You know what time it is.
Whereas in other places,
they come after everybody.
It can be more
random, like the guy that just stabbed up on the train in New York, or the guy that just this crazy. They had serial stabs.
Random things happen everywhere, but it's a little less random nonsense happening here.
Absolutely.
Usually the nonsense is a little more targeted, concentrated, and personal. Yes. In my experience, just living here my whole life and then working as a social worker. In juvenile detention and working with young people.
Absolutely.
And yeah, so it's okay. I just was kind of curious because I know I only have my experience.
Man, it's the same thing with me. I've lived in other places and it's been, yes, we had the tops. Absolutely horrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is an outlier.
Yeah.
That is like a one generational crime.
Right.
We don't have that does not happen in Buffalo.
Right.
So Buffalo, normally everywhere you go, you're fine. Not only that, it's cheaper.
Oh.
So my guys, when they went out, was like, "Oh, we good." And then we stay open at 4 a.m.
Talk about it. They don't do that in other places.
No, not DC.
Talk about it.
Not ATL.
Talk about it.
Not LA. Nope.
You in the house 10, 3, 2 if you lucky.
2 o'clock.
If you lucky.
That's
2 if you lucky.
Now here they went back because of the pandemic. Because literally I had my peoples out 3 a.m. after the gig at Mother's. We drinking some wine from Paris.
On a Tuesday.
My guy because I got a French, the violinist is a black Frenchman. He was like, "Yo, I can't get this anywhere, Walter, other than Paris." I was like, "Well, you can get it in Buffalo."
You feel me? Shout out to Buffalo, man. I love my city.
So that being said, and then you can come here and learn. Like other cities will vibe you. The vibing is like you like bigger cities. You go to play. If you're really good, sometimes they'll vibe you. Mm-hmm. If you need a little work and you're working on you getting better, just development, they'll vibe you. So we don't have that nasty attitude. We'll be like, "Oh, yo, you play? Throw you on this gig. Throw you on that gig." Development happens. So a lot of people from Buffalo are on everybody's gigs, right? You got so many people that are on different gigs and different Grammys from, and this is even more than just, and of course Zuri is in that, but it's even more cats you don't even know. Alicia Keys said that, like it's enough people in the industry for Buffalo. She came right out and said it. Yeah. So, and because when we go out in the industry, we meld into New York. They hear Buffalo, they'll throw us into New York.
In the scope of the entire country.
In the scope of the country, Texas is gonna say you from New
York. Yep.
Period.
Yep.
So
I was in Cleveland when I was a kid, and they was like, "Where y'all from?" We like Buffalo. They said, "Oh my God, are you okay? Where were you at when the towers fell?"
I was like 3 hours away, bro.
I was in school, but safe.
I was living down there.
Yeah,
I was in Virginia then.
But like in their mind,
oh yeah,
they heard. I'm like, bro, I'm literally, you can't get no farther away and be in New York than where I'm at.
They heard B. They thought they heard Brooklyn.
Yeah, like nah. But like, so that's when I understood, like, oh, they just lump us all together.
They
like
lump together.
New York. That's okay. That's super interesting. Yeah. So okay, my bad, y'all. I like to indulge on tangents. So please forgive me. Let me get back on track here. So I'm curious. So you talked a lot about, well, we've been both talking a lot about healing, but you kind of led that conversation with healing. So I'm curious. A lot of folks have intrinsic experiences, but can you just kind of express a little more explicitly what you think the therapeutic benefits of music are and can be for an individual?
I mean, we'll just go with the most shallow level for right now. Music is just sound pleasure.
Ooh,
right? So when you hear
you definitely are saying stuff like that.
It gives you pleasure, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, a lot of what do we use certain music for meditation? So what you try to do when you meditate, you try to empty your mind. So, a lot of times I do gratitude meditation. So I'm just thanking God for the day. I'm thanking God for my breath in my body, to be able to think straight and know who I am. And just have a immense gratitude, and then kind of try to empty my mind. And because I'm a musician and artist, thoughts try to come in. I'm trying to push them out, just so I have an empty mind to focus on God, and just be in the moment. So my rhythm, my breathing is now should now be with my heart. Now your circadian is right in your body, and when your circadian is off, your organs are off. You're lining everything up from your head to your toes, right? And you're trying to get everything in line to where healing now is happening. Not only are you manifesting it in your mind, but you're manifesting it in your body. So now it's going through, and you're actually letting your body work for yourself. Your body is your number one. How can I say it? Champion. It loves you the most. It's always trying to heal you.
Run that back again.
Your body is always trying to heal you.
You said your body loves you the most.
Loves you the most. Because when that's the reason why you suppress emotions. Because if you stayed on them too much, sometimes you might lose your mind. So you should learn how to suppress them.
Y'all. Don't get evicted from your mind.
Right. So, but the problem is when you keep suppressing, what are we doing? We're piling. So you got to have some sort of release.
Don't go away.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Then it festers and ferments and
Right. So for me, music is that first response, and then from there, after we meditate, then it should be a sort of a challenge, right?
Yeah.
You should go further in your musical education to be like, what else is there out there that can give me pleasure? Like people that stick on one genre.
Yeah.
And I love y'all when I say this. You are sound infants. You only I can only feed you baby food. And you only want to stay on it. You don't want to get off of it. You don't want to try nothing different. You don't want to just listen. Because to try it different means you got to listen to it, not like it, listen to it again.
That was a polite insult.
No, I'm not trying.
I'm still sound infant. So you can't even get mad.
I mean, I love you. I mean, you should always have.
You're right, though. I hear what you said after that. It makes total sense in terms of their growth, development, and exposure and experience.
Right.
And the willingness. I think there's a degree of maturity that comes with the willingness to want to be exposed to something different, and exposure leads to expansion.
Right. There it is. That was perfectly said.
Yeah. No, I'm following you.
That was perfect.
I'm learning a lot today.
We just chat.
Yeah, we're just so like I always admire folks who have the ability to do things I can't, because I have a healthy respect and appreciation for my talents and abilities, and I know that God blessed me with a unique set of skills and abilities.
Right.
And so when I recognize and see what He's blessed other people with, I get excited, especially when they recognize it themselves.
Yeah.
Because so many people are walking around with skills, talents, abilities, and gifts, and maybe they have been discouraged.
Right.
Or maybe they just haven't been given the opportunity to discover that they have that talent, skill, or ability. And that's so unfortunate to me, because I've been fortunate and blessed to be given every opportunity to explore and develop my skills, talents, and abilities. And that's what we do here.
Right.
And that's what my work is about, providing those opportunities, because I know that's the difference. I just was given more opportunities than other people.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm in kind of a position to sort of give back and create platforms, I have to create those spaces where folks get their opportunities.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's beautiful, brother.
I appreciate that. Thank you. So, what would you say are some of the stories of individuals who may have used music to cope with mental health challenges? Because I think, to your point before, there's an intentionality with music. So if I'm upset, there's certain songs I listen to. When I'm excited, there's certain songs I'm listening to. When I'm looking to relax, there's certain songs I'm listening to.
Right.
And that's on purpose. But what have been some of your experiences, either as a professional or educator, where music has helped people overcome mental health challenges?
I mean, even in the social aspect, we use music, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're dealing with mental health, a lot of times they will put on soft music. In sessions, therapy sessions.
That's true.
You get soft music. I just did, and for me, it was my mental health. I did acupuncture, which was dealing with trauma. There's a certain acupuncture that actually goes after the trauma, and it's in a certain place on your lungs.
Acupuncture?
I didn't know where it was at. So they'll put them everywhere, but it's in certain spots on your lungs where you hold your trauma. You hold your trauma right in your chest. That's your chest plate.
Okay.
Didn't know it. Dr. Lim over here at Natural Health Choices, shout out. He's my naturopath, and he did that, and he had this music on. And I found myself like in it. I'm like, yo, how can I write something like this? It was all pentatonic. It was all Eastern Asian. And it was just that whole vibe. It was like that whole piccolo. And I was like, whoa, this is a whole vibe. And I was like, just started crying. Sobbing.
It got you.
I was like, oh, what the heck is going on? Sobbing.
Wow.
He was like, oh, you're releasing your trauma. I was like, oh, what is going on?
Wow.
He put that music on, and it was just like, so you got to remember, everything is waves, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So when those waves are going in subconsciously, that's why you watch what you expose your children to, because they're always getting waves. We are God's machine, God's perfect machine. So we give out and we really receive. Amen. Right? Amen. So those waves definitely are going in. Those waves definitely a part of your subconscious. Those waves are definitely a vehicle to release trauma. And sometimes, depending on what you are familiar with, sometimes those familiar songs help release trauma. Somebody can put on a Mary J. Blige when they're going through something. Yeah. And that will help them sit there crying off.
We saw folks crying and dancing in that dance arena downtown, and all the aunties
was out. They was out there.
They was getting that crunk component in the dance arena.
Somebody will get auntie home. She ain't gonna make it.
I felt like I was there. I'm like, oh wow, y'all showed out. Y'all do know we live. This is public.
It's public, but
that's to your point.
Yeah, definitely. So waves, and that helps be the vehicle for healing. That helps to open up. The same thing in anything we do. I can play a certain thing. You can feel it when you go to the grocery store. That music ain't selected just out of the blue. Right. That's shopping music.
And there's some neuroscience and research and psychology.
Absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely.
To know what chemicals they won't release.
Absolutely.
Like, oxytocin, the serotonin.
You do all that.
Yeah, so
that's your expertise.
This is Smidge, This is Smidge. And also, again, to break the fourth wall, shout out to our producer, Joe, because he definitely lined me up with some wonderful questions. So I appreciate you on that, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But yeah, so it's definitely a lot of the brain chemistry behind that. So I think individuals such as yourself are a crucial ingredient in our community to be able to bridge that gap or that synapse,
right?
To be able to help people understand the link between like what they're hearing and experiencing and what they're feeling and thinking,
right,
and how that's gonna lead to what they're doing,
right,
and believing,
right.
And so, yeah, I think you have been doing a tremendous job since I've been having this conversation with you, just even making it simple, but still not using elementary terms.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I try just to have a convo.
Yeah,
and you are, you're a pretty intelligent brother, so I gotta bring it.
I appreciate it. So I think again, like, so what do you think, like the connection to the community is? So like when we're talking about, even from like a cultural perspective, like what are some of like the, again, intrinsic things that people don't really know that they're experiencing when it comes to like how music brings us together, whether it's the drums or whether it's what we're experiencing in church, or even when we at the clubs or the parties, like, what do you think is the culture?
Well, I have to be honest. My intentions is always to have us playing. Of course, I have other races, genders, all that play with, but I will be the lead of this, and I will be the curator of where we go, so that I know it's always going to be for us meaning for Black folk.
Yeah.
So no matter who I bring in, I'm on it. My culture is Black. It's going to be Black.
Yeah.
Then where do I choose to do it? I normally always choose Buffalo.
Okay.
I want it in an urban, accessible area, and this time I've been blessed enough to put it right in our the event space is right on Fillmore.
Okay.
Fillmore Paderewski.
Cool. Oh, okay.
So it's a beautiful theater over there. And so now I put it in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
You ain't got no excuse to get on that 23.
But feel more hurt. That feel more hurdle thing. You know what I'm saying?
You know?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing is it's curated by Black. Mm-hmm. It's put in the Black neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then from there we're human. You know, now even with the we did the cultural thing. I'm curating it. But now we're gonna do the human thing.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we do get a little caught up with trying to be Black and not human. And already folk don't think we human anyways. So let's be human. Let's know that it can kill me. I can die from certain things. COVID kills me too. I remember when it first came out, Black folk can't get COVID. Yes, they can. We get sick like anybody else. So, we're human.
That's real.
We need healing.
Focus more on being Black sometimes than being human.
Yeah.
I felt that. Because I've seen that, I've experienced that, I participated in that.
We all have.
Most definitely.
Absolutely.
I think you were also just talking about being human. So I'm sure you spend a lot of time with your bandmates.
Somewhat, yeah. I know I'm on different gigs.
Okay, cool. So like that kind of like leads me to like my next question and curiosity too is like, what's the relationship like outside of like playing together in gigs? Like, do y'all like have like bonding experiences? Do y'all hang out? Do y'all talk? Because I think that might lead to more chemistry.
Yeah,
when you're playing together.
Yeah. It's a little different.
Okay.
I'm coming from a professional level.
Got you.
So it's not a band around town.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. I was over in Italy for a month. So I hung out with Sylvia for a month.
Okay.
And we did a recording over there, and my daughter was playing over there and things like that. So I hung out with her then. I did a different recording with Trey.
Okay.
Warren Trey Cudra. And I did him with Luke Stewart, and it was a different band called Silk. Brian Settles is on that. They actually still have a trio going on. And I did a gig with Trey and Luke here at the CMC Jazz Fest like in 2021. And Thomas came into the 2021, maybe that was 2020 and then one of those. Thomas came in with a different group with Luke. Like, so I have individual long experiences with them.
Got you.
And what I try to do is I try to put the Avengers together. That's like Black Hole. I'll call so-and-so up in Florida. I call so-and-so up in Italy. Where you going to be in? I call so-and-so up and so-and-so. I shoot everybody music. Be in town and so-and-so. Here's your ticket. Let's go.
Okay. So that's how it works.
That's how I do it. That's how professionals do it. You get the call, or you're making the call, and you just play. But you put together a band that, because I'm the leader of that band, that I feel comfortable with every person. But the way my relationship was built was at individual times. Same thing with the Black Hole. I had individual times, and I was like, all right, y'all get together.
Yeah, so, and somebody has to like quarterback and lead that.
Yeah, so I got to know that the biggest thing is more than playing. Mm-hmm. I got to know, are they good people and how they act on, like, when they're around people.
Yeah,
that's the little thing. Like, how was that person's personality when they came in? How was they for the show? Were they on time for this? Were they nasty? Did they do certain things I just don't want to deal with?
Right.
Then I check them off the list or keep them on the list, and that's how I choose my people.
And I think it's very interesting, and I'm super like inspired and motivated by just hearing just your story. And I think even like the lifestyle, it sounds like music has afforded you being a professional musician.
Yeah, I mean, that's been blessed. That's the gratitude.
I work with a lot of young people. I think more so I work with a lot of young people and more desperate kind of situations.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like hard to like instill hope for them to find something to hope for, like to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And the majority of them are artists. They're artistic young people who don't really see a path for how they can, like Idris says, eat off art.
Eat off art, yeah.
So what would you say to a young artist who might be discouraged or just not really able to see the overall vision and plan? Or just what would you say to a younger artist who might be thinking about giving up or not even trying to pursue being a professional musician?
You know what? I wish I would have, what I'm about to say, I wish I would have did this, 15, 20 years ago, instead of waiting till like recently to do it. Because I was just like that, those musicians. First of all, you ain't in the tunnel. It's light outside. So have gratitude for what you do. Secondly, stop caring about that destination, care about the journey. You gotta enjoy this because you're gonna get to a place and still not like it because you didn't enjoy the journey and it's not what you thought it was. I wanted to do a tour. First time I went on I wanted to do an international tour. That was my thing. First time I did an international tour was 2009.
Okay.
Van Taylor takes me over to Amsterdam and to Africa. We go to Egypt. We go to Cairo.
Y'all hear these places that music has taken him?
When I got back, it was incredible. But I wasn't a rock star. So you have to just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna still get called for those $100 gigs.
Yeah.
You can take them or not,
Good point.
Depending on your situation, take them. For me, I don't. But
a little more than $100 to book them. That's him telling me right now.
But people are still gonna, and especially at home, because they know you. You were raised around them, but they knew, that's auntie, uncle, sister, brother, cousin. So they're not gonna have the same type of vibe that when you was in Cairo, they was like bringing you this, that, third. It's all on the, don't worry, it's on us, blah, blah, blah. Or you in Amsterdam and you running around, the canals and blah, blah, blah. That's the different. So what you say is, okay, my career will allow me to enjoy the journey, enjoy the places I'm at. Biggest thing is try to take. So the second, like another time when I went overseas, I took my own band, Grooveology. We did like a 5-city tour from like, we did Switzerland, Oberreiten, Zurich, Oberreiten, Schaffhausen, and then in Germany we did Dortmund. We did again Amsterdam. We did Lille, France, but we did Moukram, Belgium, and what we had, and then of course we flew into Frankfurt. So what we had to do was I just took my wife. Now we're gonna enjoy the experience.
Right.
And say, okay, well, I'll just pay that and we'll enjoy that experience. Yeah. So anytime you can take your wife. Yeah. Just
feed multiple birds with one seed.
Yeah. Just be thankful about, one day you might be on a private jet. Next day you back at work and you serving at so-and-so. And the reason why you serving at so-and-so is because you want to be a waiter or waitress or a bar, whatever you're doing, just quickly. So that has stability and you can easily move on.
Yeah.
Cut that and be like, oh, I got a 6-week tour. I got to go.
Yeah.
I quit.
Yeah.
Or for me, I worked for the government and still do. So I was able to like get time. I don't know how I did it. I got time off. I got like a month off this summer. I got like, I'll get 2 weeks off here. I'll string together some dates here, some dates there. Like I just made it happen. I went down to part-time and started, working at the school at Villa Maria. I just moved stuff around and I was just blessed to do it. But that's the biggest thing for me is you're not in a tunnel. Yeah. And stop looking at the other person because the other person ain't telling you the truth.
Right.
They not telling you they out in LA struggling, calling their mama to pay their bills while they on tour with so-and-so because they can't afford their rent. They ain't telling you that.
You just see the highlights where they happy on the Instagram reels.
Average jazz musician, not tycoon, but jazz musician, makes $23,000 a year.
Wow.
They on these planes and I bump it up for, if you can get Beyonce to get your retainer, that's good. But if Beyonce lets you go, You gotta go get work.
And so how are you?
You're a freelancer. So you hope that your Beyonce get you work, and a lot of times it can. But now, depending on who you with, they either gonna put you on retainer or they just gonna pay you by the gig. So and are you gonna play until you're dead? You gotta find a way to make money when you're not playing.
Right. So I think that's where the
teaching part comes in.
Yeah,
that's cats trying to teach.
That's the game, yeah. And I think a lot of young people don't have like the vision and the plan, or even not even just young people. Some folks in general just don't have that foresight to be able to know, like,
they just don't know. They see you on the gram. Mm-hmm. They see them on stage when they go see certain people and just be like, they must be loaded. No.
Yeah.
Your life is probably much more stable than theirs. You know?
So I think, like, what would cause somebody to take on that kind of a lifestyle?
I'm third generation musician.
Okay, so it's in you, not on you.
Yeah. So my oldest is at first. First month she comes back, she's like, yeah, I'm gonna be broke. Because she really got to see, like, she's down there in New York City, and she's the cats that she see on tour, just like walking around New York trying to make ends meet.
Yeah, you seen the reality of it.
She's like, oh Lord. I was like, you're smart enough. You do a lot of stuff, so we'll find ways that you can make money in this music industry without always having to have a gig. You find another way. So
real quick, before we get you out of here, what are some of those ways that, like, folks?
You got to add it up. You got to add it up.
Make money in the music industry without necessarily playing. What are your top 3 ways that somebody could generate something?
Well, of course, it's gonna be gigs. Mm-hmm. All right, and what you want to do is with the gigs, you want to layer your gigs. You want to have your gigs so I'm Buffalo based, so I like to grab a church. You grab as many churches as you want. Remember, after a while, some churches might be time consuming because every church you got to hit all their rehearsals. Mm-hmm. So you have to navigate it where you're saying, okay, I can't do your rehearsals, but I can do blah blah blah. You work that out. And then if you got a church, you want to make sure that you're doing freelance gigs. So for me, I'm a jazz musician, or I won't say we say jazz for that. I say Black American music.
Ooh, okay.
But I play that, right? So, but I get called for blues, B3 blues, and I get called for some. I used to get called a lot for R&B, but I kind of was like, I'm focusing more on jazz and blues. Y'all go ahead and work your jelly. Yeah. But if you want to do R&B, you want to keep it going. You want to keep top 40. You want to have a lot of different people you can work for other than yourself. So now you got the freelance thing going on. Then from there, you want to find a school. If you can't find a college or high school or anything like that, because high school will give you a day gig and elementary school will give you a day gig. You could be a substitute teacher doing music. And then you also can just find organizations like Pappy Martin or different other organizations that do private teaching and teach privately. Or you could just set up your private lessons because you want to teach privately. Okay. You want to get those lessons started. So that's that. Then if you have to go grab a 15-hour to 30-hour gig somewhere, airlines is a great place to go do it. So you get the airline benefits. Huh. So you got to make the moves. You make the moves. Restaurants is good because you can get on and off, and restaurants they're around a lot of musicians too, so they understand that whole ecosystem. So the owner, you can be like, yeah, I'm gonna be gone for 3 weeks. They'd be like, just let me know 2 weeks before. Gotcha. If you're really good. So you want to get a few jobs together. Now, if you are going, it all depends. Now, let's say you went to school. Try to pick a college that's near a hot city. So if you go into college, I tell anybody, try to go to Purchase. Because Purchase is near New York City, but it's SUNY. So you get to play SUNY prices. Michigan is another place. Get around Detroit. They got Michigan. Their state schools are good schools. Okay. Grab a state school over there. Chicago, definitely. Denver is hot.
I always want to go to Denver.
Denver is nice. Atlanta.
There's some us's out there in Denver.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. We everywhere. Denver is nice. Denver, LA and all that stuff is tricky because it's so expensive. A lot of times when you go out to LA, you want to do like, if you're working on your master's, or you want to put it all in your school where you live on campus. I got a lot of people that went out to LA and did their graduate work and was able to, now they sustain themselves as a musician because they got in the community. You want to get there because out of sight, out of mind. So once you get there, you learn your school, and then you want to kind of get in their community because those are the cats that are going in and out on tour. So the jam sessions or any places they see you, and remember, let me tell every musician, it's a I like you test.
Say that again.
That's in life. It's a I like you test. If you liked, if you got it, I get personality, where you vibing, and you around, you
personality high.
You don't get the gig.
Personality.
Yo, man, I like being around that cat. Yo, what's good, baby? We got here. Oh, you missed that? That's flat. Yo, you got it. Oh, just get it. Oh, he got it. We good. All right, we up. They'll get you there
because they like you.
Because they like you.
When I used to take young people on interviews, I would be like, "Hey, you kind of look like if she saw you coming down the street,
she run out of the way.
She'd clutch her purse." So my advice: you kind of look like a young, scary Negro. Go in there and smile.
Right. Yes, that's smiling.
Smile.
As soon as you walk
in, be very charming.
Yes.
You can be charming.
Yes.
If you don't really know, act like you almost trying to flirt with them. That's what charming means.
Yes.
Like be that version of yourself.
Yes.
Because like, why I gotta do all that, bruh? Because if it come down to you and a young person with equal credentials, they're gonna go with whoever they want to spend more time with.
That's it.
If I gotta spend 4 hours with the jerk or 4 hours with the cool guy, the jerk could be overqualified.
Right.
I want to spend 4 hours with the cool guy. If it's up to me to make the choice.
Especially if it's on a plane in the car.
Right.
Oh, no, I'm like, you got to be cool. If we driving around, you got to be cool.
Yeah, so let that be a definite message to you, like, be a personality hire. Just be cool.
All day.
Just be cool.
All day.
Like, just don't be the contrarian. Don't be the jerk. Don't be.
Stay away from hot topics.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Thank you. I think that's tremendous advice. I was going to ask you for another piece of advice before we got you out of here because I know I done kept you for longer than I expected, but it's a great conversation. And I know the cameras and everything is still rolling.
Cool.
But just, I guess, just practical applications, just with you being like an experienced educator and musician and communicator, what would you say, again, maybe 2 or 3 tips for like incorporating music for hope in your life? Because this is Igniting Hope Radio.
Right.
And how can music be used to give individuals or our people hope?
Well, because, inside of us, we are music, right? So we help form, all of American music is really Black music, right?
Yeah.
So the foundation of America is stood on their music, right? Which we help create. So that being said is, you're just as much of American as anybody else. I want to tell Black folk that too. And because of that, that's not just hope, that's a fact.
Right.
And with our music and hope, and I want to stay on topic because I was about to jump off. We give inspiration with our music. They take our music for everything. They take our music for shopping. They take our music for therapy. 'Cause I'm happy. They take our music for everything. We're actually the hope that they need. They drawing a people that's searching for healing, for hope. That's kind of crazy. But we embody hope. So what we have to do is just stay focused on gratitude in our own gifts, because it's coming out of our own people. The music is coming from us. So just have gratitude as you create the music. And that's the hope. Because gratitude, just all that means is I'm thankful for right now and I hope to have tomorrow. That's all.
Wow. And so with that, anything else you want to say to the people?
Hey, Friday, April 4th, 7:30, Torrance Space Theater. Get there. It's going to be a great time. It's chamber code. We're going to have a beautiful time. It's going to be us. It's a beautiful venue. Get there early. The bar is open. And we might even have a food truck outside. I'm working on that right now. So definitely get on over there. You can go to my Walter Kemp 3 Instagram or Facebook. Grab them ticks, and y'all be blessed out there. And you know what? Let the stress go. Come on and see us.
And I'll be there doing the documentary of the event, so I'll be there recording.
Oh man, bless you,
people.
Man.
Yeah,
That's beautiful. I want you to give me a copy of that.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's gonna be on YouTube. Shout out to Alita. She asked me to do it for the Center for Health Equity, so I'll be there with the camera. At least one. I might try to have somebody else help me, but I'll be there with the camera interviewing people. So I'll do a follow-up, quick little interview with you when we're there, either before or after you perform. So for the good brother Walter Kemp III, I am Sherman Webb-Middlebrooks, a lifelong Buffalo resident and full-time Black man. This has been another episode of Igniting Hope Radio presented by the Buffalo Center for Health Equity. I want to leave y'all with the words, as always, of my hero, the honorable late, great Jerry Springer. Y'all take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.
Easy.
All right. And that was a dope